Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. All praises to the ever-present creator. Always was, is, and never shall be, the mighty and great spirit, the mighty and great I am, whose magnitude is incomprehensible and whose presence is everywhere. I'm your little brother, Malaki Macabee. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. Yeah. We love y'all too. Y'all see the title, Human Burnt Offering, accepted by biblical God. Hebrews in denial. Y'all take y'all shoes off at the door, man. Wipe your feet off. Come on in and get some of this good cooking over this way, man. Love, light, and balance to the fam, man. Love, light, and balance. Share this, hit the thumbs up, get the algorithm yanking around this thing. Don't talk about it. This seems to be a topic of great controversy lately. You know what I mean? And it's really rattling the very foundation. You know what I mean? If y'all know us, we real deep into the character of who we call the creator, the God maker. The creator and maker of suns, moons, and stars. You feel me? So we heavy into the character of creating, heavy. You feel me? And with that keeps us, from being, faked out or, being played. Because just because a spirit comes even in the name you call on, you're gonna be looking or listening for the message. Is the message conducive to the character of the creator? Is the message conducive to the character of the creator? If the message is off, it don't matter if they pop up doing a miracle or come looking like you expect or answer to the name you call on. If the message is opposite, then it is what it is. So y'all come on in, man. Tap in with your little brother, Malaki Megaton Light Bomb Macabee. And we're going to look at a little something today. We're going to chop it up. And, we're going to see what's what. Love and light, family. Let's raw. Let's raw. I'll go ahead and share this all over social media. I know it's going to make some niggas mad, but, man, they'll be all right. You figure smell me, player? We ain't smelling what you selling, Mally, man. We ain't smelling what you selling, girl. Hey. Yeah, acting like I'm making any of this up. Ain't making it up. Not when you can go there and read it. You feel me? This right here is a video about the very topic. This is Jephthah and a sinister Bible story. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Love, light, and Cosmo, and everybody. Nazarene Sing Faith is in the building. I see you. What's the word? What's the word? Keep sending that info through. Our Bishop X in the building. Love, light, and balance to the fam. Y'all already know what time it is, man. We come to, I'm back for the side order. It is right here. My brother C. La Shalom TV or Watch the Bible. Y'all go like, subscribe, and share. A plethora of knowledge and information and light over there, man. You know what I mean? Some good feasting, great feasting, might I add. Y'all go like, subscribe, share, tap in with God, man. Follow the great spirit. All praise to the ever-present great spirit, not in the shape or image of man. Real easy to understand. Can't be faked out. You know what I mean? Love, light, balance to follow the great spirit. Just me, the brother with all the archives. What's the word, love one? Love, light, and balance. Shout out to my brother, Prince. Man, where you been, Prince, man? Dang. I just was wondering about you. I said, man, what is Prince at? Man, I ain't seen my brother in a minute, man. I'm glad everything going good for you, your family, your love, light, brother, man. Hey, I salute you, right? You know what I mean? You always got a home over here, though, man. Don't be going ghost mode on the game, man. What's up with you? You going off. Love you, bro. Dreadful Cosmo, nigga, Thusha, Westside Connect, gang. You already know what time it is, bro. The Bronze Yoga report in the field and love, light, balance to everybody. Y'all go like, subscribe, share the Bronze Yoga report. We got the Elder in the building. Elder in the come out. We in the building now. In the building, they Shem Mordecai. My brother Shem Mordecai, love, light, balance, brother. You know what I mean? Like balance. Yeah, what Prince said, man. Bring him on up in here, man. Good to see the brother, man. I be amped to see the game. Y'all already know. Let's play this real quick, though. I got a couple hours, man. So let's go ahead and cook. You know what I mean? We let everything fall where it fall. It's Jephthah and a sinister vow. I need to speed this up a little bit just to stop this from hating. Let me see. You speed it up. Playback speed custom. We're gonna go up to 1.25, son. I think that's cool. All right, let's rock out.
We are gathered here today to reflect on the story of Jephthah, the judge of Israel, whose tragic tale is recounted in the book of Judges, chapter 11. Jephthah was a valiant warrior, son of Gilead and a prostitute, driven out by his brothers who did not accept him. He went into exile in the land of Tob and became the leader of a band of raiders. When the Ammonites made war against Israel, the elders of Gilead came to beg Jephthah to return and save them. Jephthah agreed on the condition that he would become the leader of the people if he won the victory. Before going to fight against the Ammonites, Jephthah made this terrible vow to the Lord. If you will indeed deliver the people of Ammon into my hands, then it will be that whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the people of Ammon, shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up as a burnt offering. Judges 11:30, 31, New King James Version. Jephthah won a great victory thanks to the Lord's help, but when he returned, it was his only daughter who first came out of his house, with tambourines and dancing, to celebrate his triumph. Seeing her, Jephthah tore his clothes and cried out, "Alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low. You are among those who trouble me, for I have given my word to the Lord and I cannot go back on it." Judges 11:35, New King James Version. His daughter answered him, "My father, if you have given your word to the Lord, do to me according to what has come out of your mouth, because the Lord has avenged you of your enemies." Judges 11:36, New King James Version. After spending 2 months in the mountains weeping over her lost virginity with her companions, she returned to her father, who fulfilled the terrible promise made to the Lord. My friends, let us meditate on this painful story, which raises many questions. First, let's put it back into its historical context. At that time, Israel was under the domination of powerful invaders, the Philistines to the west and the Ammonites to the east. The Jewish people were going through troubled times. When a new threat weighed upon them, they called upon judges, military and political leaders raised up by God to deliver Israel. It is in this context that Jephthah intervened. Next, let's look at the custom of human sacrifice, common at the time among many pagan peoples. Yet it was formally prohibited by the Mosaic law. In his misplaced zeal and desire to win divine favor, Jephthah thus committed a serious transgression. The Lord had not asked for such a sacrifice at all. As the prophet Micah said, "He has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." Micah 6:8 NKJV. Exploring the complex relationship between Jephthah and his only daughter also sheds light on this drama. This young girl shows admirable courage and selflessness. As her father prepares to sacrifice her because of a foolish vow, she encourages him to keep his word, accepting her tragic fate with amazing faith and resignation. But Jephthah's reaction is just as telling. Seeing her approach, he tears his clothes in grief, showing how shattered he is at the thought of losing the one he loves most. Yet blinded by his fanaticism, he chooses to fulfill his vow rather than listen to his conscience. This is the height of the inner conflict tormenting him. This heart-rending story illustrates the dangers of thoughtless, disproportionate promises, guided by excessive zeal rather than wisdom. It also warns us against the temptation of human sacrifice, a barbaric practice that reduces the beloved to the status of an object offered to win heavenly favors. Let us remember Samuel's words. "Has the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed than the fat of rams." 1 Samuel 15:22, New King James Version. Let us learn from the lesson of wisdom and moderation in this ancient drama. Neither extreme zeal nor excessive promises can please the Lord. He calls us to justice, mercy, and love. May we walk humbly with him, listening to his voice in our conscience rather than the blindness of passion or fanaticism. Now let's analyze more closely the vow made by Jephthah before fighting the Ammonites. Indeed, it has sparked much debate among biblical commentators. Was it really a vow to make a burnt offering, implying the sacrifice of his daughter? Or was it simply a vow to consecrate her to the Lord? Let's examine the main arguments made on both sides. First, the Hebrew text uses an ambiguous phrasing that can be translated either as, "I will offer it up as a burnt offering," or more generally as, "I will consecrate it with a solemn vow." This linguistic subtlety is at the heart of the exegetical controversy. Some commentators, like the 11th century Rabbi Rashi, argued that Jephthah devoted his daughter to a life of divine service, similar to Samuel's parents consecrating their son to the Lord. 1 Samuel 1:11, New King James Version. According to this interpretation, she would have had to renounce marriage and motherhood, hence her weeping over her virginity. But this was not a sacrifice in the literal sense. This reading is supported by the fact that the Mosaic law strictly prohibited human sacrifice, a practice of neighboring pagan cults that Israel had to categorically reject. Some also point out that child sacrifice is nowhere else mentioned in the Bible concerning Israel. However, most traditional exegetes have always interpreted this vow in the literal sense, as the promise to really sacrifice the first person who came to meet Jephthah. They emphasize that the text heavily insists on the irrevocable nature of the promise, which binds Jephthah to the point that he cannot go back on it. But if it had just been a vow of consecration for his daughter, nothing prevented him from revoking it to spare her, as Samuel's parents did. Indeed, in 1 Samuel 1:11 New King James Version, it is reported that Samuel's parents, Hannah and Elkanah, had made a vow to consecrate their son to the Lord's service. Once Samuel was weaned, they took him to the temple of Shiloh for him to be raised by the priest Eli. However, it is specified later in 1 Samuel 2:19, 21 New King James Version, that Hannah continued to visit him every year when she went up to the temple and made him a little robe that she brought him. We understand, therefore, that Samuel was indeed consecrated to the temple in accordance with his parents' vow, but that they maintained a close bond with him and did not abandon him completely, unlike what Jephthah did with his daughter. In this sense, if Jephthah had only made a vow of consecration for his daughter, he could have, like Samuel's parents, gone back on this vow to spare her without completely denying it. Moreover, the book of Judges depicts a dark and chaotic time when the Mosaic law was often flouted in favor of pagan practices. Human sacrifices, however reprehensible, were not uncommon in those troubled times. Other verses in the book of Judges allude to this as well. Judges 17:5. In addition, the sacrifice of the firstborn, especially in the case of military victory, was a widespread practice among many peoples neighboring Israel. Some commentators see this as the influence of the surrounding cultural context on Jephthah, which led him to make this fateful vow. Furthermore, Jephthah's heart-rending reaction at the sight of his only daughter coming out of his house would hardly make sense if it were merely a vow to consecrate her to the temple. Likewise, the girl's weeping over her virginity would be meaningless in that case. Everything indicates that she is preparing herself to die prematurely. The traditional stance is also supported by the fact that the church fathers from the earliest centuries mostly interpreted this story as the actual fulfillment of a vow of burnt offering. Among them, let us note St. Augustine, Thomas Aquinas, as well as many medieval rabbis like Rashi, Ibn Ezra, and Kimi. However, since the 20th century, a growing number of exegetes have challenged this literal reading and again defended the idea of a simple vow of consecration. They rely in particular on fine textual analyses that reveal contradictions and implausibilities in the story, as it has come down to us. Thus, several details appear as later additions aimed at transforming a vow of consecration into a human sacrifice for theological reasons. For instance, the mention of the weeping for virginity seems artificially introduced to justify the premature death of the girl. Likewise, Jephthah's excessive reaction of tearing his clothes when seeing her appears to forcefully amplify the tragedy of the scene, to lend credence to the sacrifice thesis. Moreover, the place of sacrifice is never specified, whereas this indication would have been critical. Finally, some argue that it would be unthinkable for the biblical author, who opposed human sacrifice, to relate such a scandalous episode without explicitly condemning it, or even making a moral judgment. This silence can be explained if Jephthah's initial vow was distorted by tradition. At the end of this overview of exegetical arguments, it must be acknowledged that the debate remains wide open. While the traditional thesis of actual sacrifice retains solid foundations, numerous textual and contextual subtleties plead in favor of reinterpreting the vow as a simple consecration, despite the ambiguity of the original text. Perhaps this indeterminacy is deliberate on the part of the biblical author, who may have wanted to warn his readers against making excessive promises to God, while leaving them free to discern, or not, the confirmation of the prohibition of human sacrifice. In any case, beyond the exegetical controversies, the main message that emerges from this dark story remains a salutary warning. As Ecclesiastes says, "When you make a vow to God, do not delay paying it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay what you have vowed. Better not to vow than to vow and not pay. Do not let your mouth cause your flesh to sin, nor say before the messenger of God that it was an error. Why should God be angry at your excuse and destroy the work of your hands?" Ecclesiastes 5:4-6, New King James Version. Let us pray for the wisdom never to make thoughtless oaths, lest we become enslaved to them and cause irreparable tragedies. My friends, the heartbreaking story of Jephthah and his daughter as told in the book of Judges chapter 11 holds many lessons for us who seek to walk in the Lord's way today. Meditating on this ancient drama in light of Scripture will allow us to grasp its timeless teachings. First, this story reminds us of the dangers of misguided religious zeal. Driven by an ardent desire to defeat Israel's enemies with God's help, Jephthah made the rash vow to sacrifice to the Lord the first person who came out to meet him. As the Apostle Paul says, zeal for God, but not according to knowledge, can lead to terrible mistakes. Romans 10:2. Authentic zeal must always be rooted in the gospel truth and a sincere desire to please God. Let us pray to discern whether our zeal stems from pure motivations or from misplaced pride. Secondly, this story highlights the dangers of thoughtless vows. Through his reckless promise, Jephthah found himself bound to the point that he could not take it back, in his own words. As Jesus says in the gospel, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. Matthew 5:37. So let us wisely weigh our vows before committing ourselves. Thirdly, the tragic fate of Jephthah's daughter reminds us of the infinite value of each human life in God's eyes. Created in his image, we are called to protect the dignity of every human being, especially the most vulnerable. As Psalm 139 declares, each creature is fearfully and wonderfully made in the womb, known and cherished by God even before birth. Psalm 139:13-16. Fourthly, Jephthah's heart-rending reaction illustrates the distress that arises when our allegiances conflict. Torn between his rash vow and fatherly love, Jephthah ultimately chose loyalty to his oath rather than mercy toward his daughter. Let us learn to resolve ethical dilemmas in the light of the greatest commandment, which is to love God and neighbor. Matthew 22:37-39. Fifthly, Jephthah's daughter's serene acceptance of her tragic fate compels our admiration. She chose to respect parental authority and submit to God's will, however painful. May we display the same trust when facing trials, surrendering ourselves to the Lord's providence who causes all things to work together for good to those who love him. Romans 8:28. Finally, beyond Jephthah's specific case, this dark story reminds us of the need to always consider biblical narratives in their entirety. Scripture unambiguously condemns human sacrifice and murder, Deuteronomy 12:31. Let us beware of drawing erroneous lessons by isolating certain episodes from their overall context. Let us meditate on this heart-rending drama with humility, without judging these tormented characters, but seeking to draw from it teachings of wisdom suited to our time. May we grow in an ever-purer love of God and neighbor, walking in the way of gospel truth, strengthened by Christ's grace. Here's my personal conclusion about this story. For me, the key lesson that emerges from Jephthah's drama lies in a call to cultivate empathy and mercy, even in situations of apparent moral conflict. Faced with the excruciating dilemma he faced, Jephthah could have found a compassionate way out, had he listened to the faint voice of pity, rather than locking himself into the relentless logic of his vow. Admittedly, going back on his word would have required the humility to publicly acknowledge a mistake. But how noble it would have been to assume this reversal to save an innocent life, especially that of his own daughter. Jephthah would then have shown true greatness of soul and set an example of that wisdom which is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits without partiality and without hypocrisy, according to the Apostle James, James 3:17. Instead, by blindly sticking to his ill-fated vow, Jephthah accomplished precisely what the Bible warns us against, respecting the letter of the law, but denying its spirit of compassion. This Pharisaic rigidity stifles mercy, yet the foremost virtue in Jesus' eyes. As Christ taught in various parables, human distress must always take precedence over rules when their strict enforcement leads to aberrations. Man was not made for the law, but the law for man's good. Thus, faced with a moral conflict, let us ask, what does the voice of conscience enlightened by love dictate here? How can I best act to relieve suffering and preserve everyone's dignity? Let us cultivate empathy that allows us to put ourselves in the other's place, feeling their distress as our own. And let mercy temper the blind rigor of rules, oaths, and relentless logic. Such is the path of true wisdom, that of Christ. May we all grow in this spirit of empathic discernment and concrete mercy. And when we fall short of this ideal, may we pick ourselves up again with humility, thanks to the tireless forgiveness of our Father who is in heaven.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. How that background music, y'all? Is it too loud? Is it too low? Is it just right? Let me know. And then we're gonna go ahead and talk about it today, though. You see the various breakdowns, the ideologies. It seems that the first guy who got to talking about Jephthah's daughter was consecrated to the temple was Rabbi Rashi in the 90s. Yeah, some of them thought he was Messiah or something. You know what I mean? But and that's really because trip off this. Even the dude who made the video, he in the end he admitted what? That he did sacrifice him. You know what I mean? It was his tragic vow that he couldn't take back. He blamed it on Jephthah's zeal. He blamed it on his zeal. You know what I mean? It's just right. Okay, we all good. But in the end, the dude who made the video, you feel me, admitted that, yeah, he did kill his daughter. He offered her up as a burnt offering. He did. You know what I mean? That's because when you read the story, it's certain things you can't get around. Now, this conversation's been hot on the presses. You know what I mean? Real hot on the presses. Even if you're trying to bring out the Samuel being dedicated to the temple in Shiloh. You know what I mean? Even if that's the case. Even if that's the case, right? Well, the killer for that, or the dagger behind that, is you can read that in the story. You can go read that. You know what I mean? And if you look at the reaction of Jephthah as a parent and the reaction of Samuel's mama, that was her own child. You know what I mean? As a parent, it's night and day. Ripping clothes and I can't take back my vow. And you understand? That ain't the reaction of somebody that's going to dedicate his daughter to go live in the temple. And according to Samuel, his mama came and hollered at him every year, whenever she could. So that means Jephthah would have been going to visit his daughter at the temple. And that temple would have been in Shiloh because, you know what I mean? And that's a tabernacle. It's not a physical building at the time. The temple didn't become a temple until Solomon. This is in the time period of the judges. What they call in the temple is actually what, y'all? A portable tabernacle. Huh? Portable tabernacle. You see, so when we go back and read this, just trip off Jephthah's reaction. That's all you got to do. Trip off his reaction and what he did. Did he perform his vow or didn't he? You feel me? And if he did, then the vow wasn't about consecration. Jephthah made that vow thinking it was going to be an animal that came and greeted him out his house or out his doors, his gates, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? We were husbandmen back then. Plenty of acres of land. Animals running around. You know what I mean? Wherever your gate started, that's your property. That's your house. You feel me? So the first thing to meet him on his way back from turning plenty of women into widows and plenty of children into orphans, he had just slain 20 cities of the Amorites. Or the Ammonites, one of them. He had just laid down 20 cities. Huh? Let's not act like the man wasn't spilling blood. He was spilling plenty of blood. You dig? So here, let me drop this in the chat for y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link to that video. Y'all go check that out. You know? It looked like a rabbi came up with that in the 90s. Okay. But it got holes in it. Even the dude in the video know it got holes in it. You feel me? Like you're reading that into the text. Now let's go to the text and see. Let's go to the text and see what is really going on, Malaki. I can hear the Millie Mouth Misfits now. You know what I mean? Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. It's all love, man. Love, light, balance in the name of the creator, the maker of suns, moons, and stars, the creator, the God maker. Yeah, and the creator is ever present, not in the form and figure of a man, woman, angel, animal. None of that. Ever present mean everywhere at once. Huh? And yet unseen. Because he ain't in the form and figure of a man, a woman, an angel, animal. Unseen. You shouldn't be mad at that. Bible tell you that certain aspects in the Bible tell you that who they call God is unseen. Huh? Messiah said, he's saying you've never seen his form nor heard his voice. Dang. Saul of Tarsus in Colossians say that God is invisible in Colossians. Said Yeshua is the image of the invisible God. So what is every word once, objectively speaking, dealing with what you know as life right here on earth? What is something that's everywhere at one time, but yet unseen? Figure that out, and that's the closest objective example you got to understand the nature and character of your maker. You know what's on this earth that's everywhere at one time, and yet unseen? Not in the form and figure of a man. Oxygen. So now you can't act like, because you pulling oxygen through your bull nostrils right now, in whatever part of the world you in, and at the same exact time, somebody is in Antarctica, Nova Scotia, Cape Verde, Moscow, the Alps, pulling through their nostrils the same oxygen. And yet this oxygen is unseen. Not in the form and figure of a man, woman, angel, or animal, but the oxygen is real. Oh wait. Let's go through this story, man. Let's get some understanding. All right, so shout out to the maker of suns, moons, and stars, man. The ever-present creator, the God maker. All-knowing, all-powerful, always was, is, and never shall be. You got something higher than that? You might not want to come off your porch then. Sit on back and study. You understand? Watch this right here. Let's go to the story that we speaking of. Judges, the 11th chapter. We're going to start at verse 29. We're going to start at verse 29, son. What's really going on in these pods? Wait. I notice what it says in verse 29. Look, even the commentators of the Bible know this is a tragic vow. Is consecration a tragic vow? Is consecration to the temple a tragic vow? Was that a tragic vow that Samuel's mother made when dedicating him to the temple? Was that a tragic vow? Dedication or consecration is not tragic. But notice how it starts, though. See? Notice how it starts. Whose spirit? Man is led by what he can't see. What you see is led and propelled forth by what's unseen. Nobody can argue that. You've never seen one of your thoughts. You just move off of them. So whose spirit was on Jephthah? That's what we need to talk about, because that's the root of all this. That's the root of all this. Whose spirit was on Jephthah? What inspired him? Or who inspired him to make the vow? See, the video want to talk about his zeal. You know, he had a zeal. No. Even zeal is an inspiration. Who inspired the zeal, buddy? See, we slow you down. It sound good. And that's because what I done found out is y'all been trying to explain this story away for a couple hundred years. Trying to explain this story away for forever, put it that way. You understand? So let's go examine this. Since when is consecration or dedication to a higher way of life a tragic vow? Look whose spirit. Look whose spirit. Who inspired Jephthah to make the vow? See? You read right over that. The spirit of who? The Lord. The Lord is Yahuwah or Yahweh. Look at this. It's real easy. We slow you down. It's real easy. We slow you down. Watch this. The Lord is Yahuwah.
Strong's H 3068. Yehovah. Yehovah.
Look at that. And we all know we ain't got to play around. That's Jehovah, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yehovah. Some say Ahaya, whatever you saying. Whatever you saying. Nick Rose been arguing over linguistics, you understand, for years, man. They've been arguing on how to pronounce the name of God since I came into Israel in 2004, 3. I've been teaching since 05, so since what, 2003? 2003. Since I could remember. They've been arguing over linguistics. Nick Rose been tongue wrestling, claiming they got the right name and vibration for the Most High, for the Mashiach, for the angels. You ain't rolling your reshes. You ain't choking on your cats. You ain't using your gutturals. I haven't heard it all. You dig? You're not even supposed to be focused on that because the word name itself means character. We'll show you that. We'll show you that. The word name itself, when you're dealing with Bible, name of the Lord. Watch this. Show you how we get down. Surgical with it, Jake. Surgical with it, Jake. What are we talking about? We go right here. First spot it comes out of it. Genesis 4:26. Name of the Lord. Let's make it make sense. Put the Strongs on it real quick. Name. First time name of the phrase name of the Lord appears is in Genesis 4:26. Upon the name of the Lord. What does name mean, Malachi? I'll show you what it is. We ain't about to sell you no fluff. Because we ain't smelling what you selling at all. You got to go to the story of Samuel. It says that in Samuel's story, that's what happened. And Samuel's mama was not acting like Jephthah with his daughter. And there's many other things too, man. This stuff happens at birth. You do know that, right? She wasn't no newborn coming out the house to meet him. Samuel was dedicated or consecrated when he was born. What is you talking about? Early in life. Huh? Early in life. Jephthah's daughter ain't no infant. What is you talking about? Like the consecration or dedication to the Lord is when the child is born. Yeah. You know what I mean? From the time the child is born up till it's weaned off his mama's tit, that's early in life. That's from birth to about 3 years. And then little Shimmy, Samuel, had to go live in the temple, but his mama came and saw him all the time. Look what name is. Name, Shem. Some say Sim. What is name, Malachi? Outline of biblical usage. Name, reputation, fame, glory. The name is designation of God, memorial, a monument. Look at this. Shem is a primitive word, perhaps rather than from H7760 to the idea of definite and conspicuous position. Compare H8064. An appellation, look at this, y'all, as a mark or memorial of individuality, implication, honor, authority, character. Name is character. Name is honor. Name is authority. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to be tripping off of, not the fact that it's pronounced as Yahuwah. Because an evil angel can come in the very name you call on, looking exactly how you seen in your dreams. doing a miracle, and it's a false one. The only thing you're supposed to be listening for is the message. What is the message? Let's go back to Judges 11. Look at the inspiration that's on Jephthah to even make this vow. Come on now. No, you want to blame it on zeal. Zeal is an inspiration. Where it come from, though? Where it come from, though? Let the text speak. You see? You ain't got to sell an image. What the world needs is authentic and sincere people. That's what the world needs. People that's authentic, sincere. You know what I mean? Rock solid. Not nobody's about to tap dance and just start reading stuff into something just because you in denial about what it's saying. Because you in denial. Let's get back to it. Judges 11 and 29. Then the spirit of Yahuwah. We just read who Yahuwah is, right? The spirit of Yahweh, Yahweh, came upon Jephthah. And he passed over Gilead and Manasseh, and passed over Mitzvah of Gilead. And from Mitzvah of Gilead, he passed over unto the children of Ammon. Jephthah is a warrior, y'all. Put the Strongs on. You know we got definitions coming. And Jephthah vowed a vow, but don't forget, y'all, whose spirit is propelling Jephthah? Who? Type the answer in the chat. Type the answer in the chat. Who, by whom is Jephthah inspired by? According to the Bible. Who is he inspired by to make this vow? According to the Bible. Not according to what your grandmama say. Not according to what your camp leader or your moray say. According to the Bible, in verse 29, who is inspiring Jephthah? Let's see if y'all been paying attention. Oh, y'all don't pay attention. Some of y'all should hear what you want to hear. Yeah. But according to what we just read, shout out to my brother Shalom. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. The Lord. It's the Lord's Spirit, which you would call the Holy Spirit today. Hey, I ain't writing. I ain't the one making it up. You dig? The Spirit of the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord is inspiring Jephthah. Y'all, that's objective. That ain't me read nothing into it. We even went to the definitions and shown it's biblical God. It's Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahuwah, Ahaya, whatever you're saying, it's the biblical God. The Lord. That's whose spirit is on Jephthah. That's whose spirit inspired. That's whom inspired Jephthah to go to war in all these places. Gilead. That's down to the children of Ammon. It's the Spirit of the Lord that's moving. According to what we read in Bible, right? So when we get to verse 30, he's still being propelled and inspired by this same Spirit. We're not making this up. This is objective. Just look at it. The Spirit of the Lord put a battery in Jephthah's back. The Spirit of Yahweh. Verse 30. You can't be all like look, if you're going to be real, be real. Stop. You niggas looking worse than the Christians now. It's like, man, they just read that in there. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Like, to be real with yourself. If you ain't gonna be real with yourself, then, like, look, we ain't got nothing to talk about. If you lie to yourself, you lie to me. We ain't making this up. So he's still under Yahweh's spirit when he makes this vow. Look what the vow is. Is the vow about dedicating her to a temple? Verse 30. And Jephthah vowed a vow unto Yahweh, and said, if you shall without fail deliver the children of Ammon into my hand. Verse 31. Then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the children of Ammon shall surely be Yahweh's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. He makes this vow, y'all, right? Under the spirit guidance of Yahuwah. Verse 29 says the spirit of the Lord, the spirit of Yahweh is on him. And being under this inspiration, he made a vow about being victorious in war. If you can guarantee I'll be victorious in war, then whatever comes forth of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, shall be the Lord's, Yahweh's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. That's the vow. The vow ain't about taking her to a temple. In Samuel's case, that's what it was. But not her. Not her. So you can't even compare Samuel in this. The vow is not consecration. Because if it was, she'd have been consecrated and dedicated already. So obviously she's past the stage of weaning. Don't forget the dedication, biblically speaking, of a child to the Lord usually takes place from birth up until when the child is weaned off the mama's teat. And then it, is dedicated to the Lord. Sent to the temple to live and all that. But Jephthah's vow ain't about that. What is Jephthah's vow about? Y'all put the answer in the chat. What is Jephthah's vow about? Is it about consecration and dedication of a child to a temple, or is it about a burnt offering? If it's about consecration to the temple, put a 1 in the chat. If it's about a burnt offering, put a 1,000 in the chat. Let's see you paying attention. Ain't making this stuff up. The video we showed didn't keep it all the way solid. It's about burnt offerings. It's about burnt offerings. The vow is about a burnt offering. Y'all, he ain't even thinking about his daughter. He don't make this vow. See, when you making a vow of consecration, dedicating your child to the Lord, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You feel me? In this case, he's thinking it's burnt offerings, according to Leviticus 1, are all animals. They're all animals. So he makes this vow under the spirit guidance of Yahweh, that whatever comes out of his house is yours, and I offer it up as a burnt offering. Just allow me to return in peace from slaughtering these Ammonites. Whatever come out of my house to meet me first is yours, right? He wasn't thinking it was his daughter. He was thinking animal. You see, when Samuel was dedicated to the temple in Shiloh, his mother understood what she was doing. She understood it. She understood her vow. Her vow was about that. No, Jephthah's vow was about a burnt offering. Oh, now, Malaki, you making that up, man. You got to be careful, man. You've been seduced. Is that what we read? Objectively speaking, just based off what the facts are, based off what you can see, right? We're reading that the vow was about a burnt offering based off whatever greets him first after he'd been successful in killing 20 cities of Ammonites. After he slaughters so many men and women, turning so many women into widows, so many children into orphans, now he returns home. All right. Now, since we know what the vow is, right? It ain't about a consecration. Samuel's moms understood her vow and she performed it because it was about dedicating her son to the Lord, right? In which he went and lived at the temple and she came and saw him and all that good stuff, right? Jephthah makes a vow, but it's about a burnt offering. You feel me? It ain't about consecrating his daughter. The vow is a burnt offering. Remember that. Remember that, all right? I get to verse 32. So Jephthah passed over unto the children of Ammon to fight against them, and Yahweh, delivered them into his hands. So Jephthah did a lot of killing under the spirit of Yahweh, proving that the spirit of Yahweh or Yahweh is still with him. The spirit of Yahweh is still with him. The spirit of Yahweh was with him when he made that vow. The spirit of Yahweh was with him. Inspired him to make the vow. It ain't like he started operating off some blind zeal. The spirit of Yahweh was on him. Let's never forget that. What you call the Holy Spirit today was on him. And the proof that the spirit was on him, because someone tried to say, well, by the time you get to verse 30, the spirit left him. No, genius. Keep reading. The Lord is still with him. He on the wall. He's victorious. And look how much killing he did. You got to ask yourself, is this the creator or God maker? Based off how even it's moving. Look at this. And he smote, or he killed from Aurora, even till thou come to Manith, even 20 cities. And into the plain of the vineyards with a very great slaughter. Thus the children of Ammon were subdued before the children of Israel. Subdued, huh? What you out there doing, Jephthah? Subduing. He put them in subjection, slavery, bondage. Outline of biblical usage: to be humble, be humbled, be subdued, be brought down, be low, be under, brought into subjection. Bend the knee. Kana, bend the knee. Put them Ammonites in subjection. That's how much killing he did under the inspiration of the Lord. See? Now he's been seduced. He done lost his life. Man, look, we reading right here. We reading right here. There ain't no reason to get mad about it. Let's just deal with it. Feel me? Then you can try to go exegete. All right, look at this. Verse 34. And Jephthah came to Mitzvah unto his house. And behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels, with dances. And she was his only child. Beside her, he had neither son nor daughter. So the daughter is grown enough to come out and get the dancing and playing musical instruments. She should have been. She should have been dedicated to the temple if that's the case. That happens at birth. Between the birth and weaning, she should have been gone. Look at this. And it came to pass when he saw her. What did Jephthah do? Because remember his vow. His vow is about a burnt offering. It's not about dedicating his daughter to the temple. If his vow was about dedicating his daughter to the temple, right? Then why is Jephthah acting like this? Judges 11:35. And it came to pass when he saw her that he rent his clothes. He tore his clothes. Why'd you tear your clothes? Why? What's the point? What he did to his clothes? To tear in pieces, to tear, rend, to tear away or out, to tear, rend asunder, to make wide or large, to rend open, to tear, rend of wild beasts, to be rent, be split asunder. Dang. That deal say strike head Beat drunk. Dang. So we understand that this man is acting like this because of what? He got to go dedicate his daughter to the temple. Is that why he acting like this? Do you tear your clothes for that? Tearing your clothes. You like, man, I done tripped. Is Jephthah acting like it's the tearing of clothes? It's the tearing of clothes and acts that you do because you got to go dedicate your daughter to the temple. No, it's not. No, it's not. He remembered his vow. He remembered that vow. That vow is what? Dang, whatever come my vows to greet me is the Lord. And it got to be a burnt offering. And this my daughter. And it came to pass when he saw her that he rent his clothes and said, alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low. You have brought me very low. And thou art one of them that trouble me. For I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back. How is him giving his daughter away to the temple, bringing him very low? Why is this troubling him? Why? Now, let's switch roles, right? Say it wasn't his daughter that came out. Say the first thing that greet him was a bullock. We still talking temple talk? We still talking about dedication to temple? No, we're not. We're talking about a burnt offering at that point. We're talking about a burnt offering if it's now. Oh, dang, you wouldn't even be reading about no. You wouldn't even be considering. You understand? Oh, that he didn't do a burnt offering on the bullock. He got sent to the priest. He got sent to the priest to go be the priest's personal bullock or something. You wouldn't even have the idea that this child was dedicated to a temple. If it was now. Jephthah wouldn't have rent his clothes. He wouldn't have said he been brought very low and he's troubled. Look what he say. For I have opened my mouth unto Yahweh and I cannot go back. Back on what? Back on what, Malachi? Verse 31. And it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the children of Ammon shall surely be Yahweh's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. That's what he can't go back on. And now, just in case you think, because the video we played said, basically, that's a wrong translation, right? Look what it says in all the other translations. When we walk you down. Walk you down. What is you talking about? You can't get that off over here either. They're acting as if it don't say that in the other translations. Well, what does it say? That's the KJV. And that's the NKJV. Let's go to the NLT. What does it say, Malachi? Look what it says. It say, I will give to the Lord whatever comes out of my house to meet me. When I return in triumph, I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. That's why Jephthah said he was brought very low. That's why he said his daughter troubled him. Even though she came outside with timbrels and dancing and singing, he like, look, you know what I mean? He tore his clothes and said, I'm brought very low by seeing you. And then he said, because what came out my mouth, I can't take it back. What came out of his mouth? What came out of his mouth? We ain't got to play the game. What came out of his mouth? Y'all over carrying the breakdown of a 20th century rabbi named Rashi. He came up with that in the 90s. And I did. Whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me, when I return in triumph from the Ammonites, will be Yahweh's, and I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. All the other translations say it too. What is you talking about? Surgical with it. Walk you down with this. You just sound like a brother that lost the light. Nah, I ain't do nothing but gain more. My light up. I don't know what none of y'all talking about. My light up. Just through the roof. You know what I mean? Look what the rest of them say. ESV, which is considered to be one of the more clearer and precise translations, is the ESV. Look what the ESV says. Then whatever comes out from the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the Ammonites shall be Yahweh's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. All of them say, y'all. CSB, burnt offering. CSB said, I will offer that person. Right. As a burnt offering. Good night, boy. That means that the scholars that translated that understood. NSB, I will offer it up as a burnt offering. NASB 9:5, I will offer it up as a burnt offering. LSB, shall be, they put Yahweh in her. Look at this. Shall be Yahweh's or Yahweh's, and I will offer it up as a burnt offering. What you mean the different translations or the Hebrew or whatever don't say it? It do say it. Everybody's translating it as, I will offer it up as a burnt sacrifice. It is RSV, burnt offering. ASV, burnt offering. YLT, burnt offering. Boy, what did you talk? Who around here talking about something that ain't in there? Burnt offering. WEB, burnt offering. HNV, burnt offering. You can speak some Spanish and all that, burnt offering. So if y'all understand that the scholars are not saying it's a linguistic problem, it's simply an interpretation problem. Y'all know why? Because those who are proponents and who are bound to Bible are in denial that biblical God accepted this. Not only did he accept it, he inspired it. We're in denial about that. So all the apologists gotta come outside now. Every last one of them. You know what I mean? There's the light on. All the apologists gotta come outside now. You know what I mean? They got to. They gotta defend because they like, no, it ain't no way he accept. It's called being in denial. There ain't no way that my God accepts human sacrifice, right? But if you think about it, Jesus is a sacrifice. Jesus was a man. According to the New Testament narrative, Jesus is a sacrifice, a sin offering, a peace offering. You understand? He was killed on a cross, blood was spilled, sacrifice. So he does, so God does accept human sacrifice. Yeah. Like the Jesus sacrifice happens after this event right here. Now don't forget, before this event, he tempted Abraham to offer Isaac up as a what offering? A burnt offering. And Abraham was with it until he was stopped. Okay? Jephthah went through with it. We about to read it. Jephthah made a vow unto Yahweh, being under the unction and spirit of Yahweh. You understand? That whatever comes out his door is Yahweh's, the Lord's. And to prove it's the Lord's, I'm going to offer it up as a burnt offering. Whatever come out my house to meet me first after I finish spilling all his blood is yours. I'm going to offer it up as a burnt offering. He was thinking animal. Why? He ripped his clothes. He saw a daughter and was troubled. Like, look, I made a vow. What vow? Huh? What vow? Verse 31. Then it shall be that whatsoever come forth of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the children of Ammon shall be your house, the Lord's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. That's the vow. The vow ain't about dedicating a child to a temple. Look at the reaction. If that vow was about dedicating this child to the temple, he would have never acted like this. He would have never said he'd been brought very low. All right? He wouldn't have acted like this. How you know, Malachi? Samuel mama didn't act like this. He actually was dedicated to the temple. And it came to pass when he saw her. Let's go back up to 34. And Jephthah came to Mizpah into his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances, and she was his only child. Besides her, he had neither son nor daughter. 35. And it came to pass when he saw her that he tore his clothes. He ripped asunder his clothes. Why? Because he's about to go dedicate her to the temple. He tore apart his clothes and said, alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low. You are one of them that trouble me. For I have opened my mouth unto Yahweh the Lord, and I cannot go back. What came out of his mouth? Whatever comes out to meet me is the Lord's, and it will be a burnt offering to the Lord. What came out to meet him? His daughter. Maybe we ain't got to read nothing into the text. Look at it. Look at this. And she said unto him, my father, if you have opened your mouth unto Yahweh, do to me according to that which have proceeded out of your mouth. She with it. Like, hey, whatever you vow, do it. Do it. For as much as Yahweh have taken vengeance for thee on your enemies. Look at the daughter. Daughter, like, look, you came back successful. Yahweh took vengeance, killed your enemies. Woo. Woo. You saying that this Yahweh was the creator, I assume. Daughter even like, hey, look, yeah, the Lord, nigga, Yahweh killed your enemies, pops. Whatever you said you was gonna do to me, do it. We gonna rejoice that Yahweh killed them Ammonites. Dang. Dang, look at this. For as much as the Lord have taken vengeance for thine enemies, even of the children of Ammon. Verse 37. And she said unto her father, let this thing be done for me. Leave me alone for 2 months. Leave me alone 2 months that I may go up and down upon the mountains and bewail my virginity, I and my fellows. So he got a 2-month window before he got to sacrifice this child of his to the Lord who inspired him to. Inspired him to go to war, inspired him to kill, spill blood, man, inspired him to make that vow. Got a 2-month window. You got 2 months, 60 days to change your mind. Stand down. You shouldn't even say it that. Why that ain't in your head? Like, man, I'm not about to go do that. Because his intention wasn't about his daughter. See, his intention was about an animal. So why didn't the Lord release him from this vow? Because it wasn't Jephthah's intention for his daughter to come. When Jephthah made the vow, he was not thinking about his daughter. So his intentions wasn't about killing his daughter. So Jephthah, you had 2 months to change your mind on this. And the God had 2 months. The Lord had 2 months, 60 days to release you from this, because that wasn't your intention. It wasn't your intention to kill your daughter. Understand? Look at this. Not just kill her, offer her up as a burnt offering. 38. And he said, go. And he sent her away for 2 months. And she went with her companions and he wailed her virginity upon the mountain. What is the mountain's temples? Or what's going on here? You would never have the pleasure of being a wife, a mother, a grandmother. You know what I mean? Back then, it was an honor for a woman to give birth and be a wife. And, you know what I mean? Back then, it was an honor. That's why they be welling like this. Jephthah's daughter would never have the privilege of being a wife, never have the privilege of bearing children. He ain't got no more children anyway. His whole line is cut down. Trip off that. He just killed 20 cities, thousands of Ammonites. They plenty of women and widows, plenty of children orphans. And he come back and he gotta lay down his only child, ending his whole bloodline. The irony. 39. It came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned to her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed. According to his vow which he had vowed. What was the vow, y'all? What was the vow and what was it about? All you gotta do is go to verse 31. Verse 31 is the vow. All right? I'm about to go grab some water real quick, family. I'll get some water, stretch a little taste. We're gonna be right back. Let's word. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Man, y'all dropped the 3,000 in the chat for the arc cycle of Cosmon. If y'all get some understanding today, man. What say ye? What say ye? Was Jephthah's daughter sacrificed as a burnt offering under the inspiration of the Lord? Or was she put up and dedicated to the temple? Drop a 1,000 in the chat if she was dedicated to the, not dedicated. Drop a 1,000 in the chat if she was offered up as a burnt offering to the Lord. Yahweh. Drop a 1 in the chat if she was dedicated to the temple. That's it. You know what I mean? It's real simple. It ain't even hard. We'll make it hard, man. Make it hard. All you gotta do is get out the way. Let things be what they are. You know what I mean? That's it. Because look, y'all, none of us offered any of this. You know what I mean? You should be free to navigate and critically examine whatever it is. It's like, nah, that don't even sit right. All right, so look at this. Let me bring this up. Glad everybody getting some understanding. You know, the gang gonna swing through. That's what we do. We swing through. Shout out to my brother Cosmon Kruger, man. Hey, boy, I tell you, boy. Man. Hey, you got a brother for life, boy. I try to tell you. That brother spirit. I try to, hey, listen to me. Yeah, Cosmon Kruger always with you. It don't even matter about what you talking about. He always tripping. I love that about that brother, man. Oh, man. Now, let's go see about this bewailing their virginity on the mountains. Let's go look and see what this is. Malaki, because some people claim that she was sent to the temple. I mean, shout out to a branded presence. Looking ass. Y'all go like, subscribe, and share. Get y'all branding game together, man. Get y'all branding game together and tap in with a sister branded presence. Looking ass Miss LaFay. Shout out to Cosmo and Kruger, man. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Cal just dropped the 10 ways to prove you not an Israelite. Whew, hot off the presses. I need to do a reaction to it, Cal. I'll probably do it in a couple of days. Dig? I figure I let it simmer for a little taste. And then we had a conversation, you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely, brother. All right, so let's look at Judges 11 and 38. So what is this going to bewail her virginity on the mountains? New Living Translation. You may go, Jephthah said. He sent her away for 2 months. She and her friends went into the hills and wept because she would never have children. Remember, it was an honor to have children. Honor to be a wife back then. We're not talking modern times. We're talking about tradition. All right? And everything was solid. You may go, he said. And he let her go for 2 months. She and her friends went into the hills and wept because she would never marry. And of course, she ain't about to get married. She about to get her head removed from her shoulders. Her father made a vow to offer whatever come out of his house after he finished spilling blood. He made a vow that whatever greet him out his door is going to be offered up as a burnt offering. Nah, boo-boo, marriage ain't in the plans for that. Marriage is not in the plans for that. Her head will soon be removed from her shoulders. ESV. So he said, go. Then he sent her away for 2 months, and she departed, she and her companions, and wept for her virginity on the mountain. So what is basically saying, y'all, that she would die a virgin, unmarried, and childless. Yeah, that's something to beware. What was you born for? Your father's only child. So if you die before you bear children and get married, then his bloodline is done. But how ironic, he the one they got to do it. How ironic that he the one that got to do it. He got to cut his own bloodline down. End it. Come on, man. Free yourself from the gospel, man. You did. Creator. The maker of God. That's where we at with it. You know what I mean? And it came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned. Unto her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed. He vowed that. What was the vow? That's all you got to ask anybody saying it didn't happen. Show me his vow. Vow is a burnt offering. Oh, well, what is a burnt offering? The burnt offering dedicated to the temple. Like, what are you talking about? And she knew no man, and it was a custom in Israel that the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament, cry over the daughter of Jephthah, the Gileadite, 4 days in a year. Why? Because she was dedicated to the temple. Why? No. Her father did with her according to his vow, which he had vowed. Well, what is a burnt offering, Malachi? Let's get a burnt offering real quick, and then let's go read the story on Samuel. Let's go read the story on Samuel. Let's see if it line up. If that's the only biblical example you got. Unless you're going to try to go to some lost books about the infancy of Mary, how she was sent to the temple. But again, y'all, that's at birth. That's between birth and weaning. Look, she grown enough to go with her friends to go play up in the hills for 2 months. This ain't no little girl. This is not an infant who just learned to walk yesterday. No. Look, she grown enough to where she can leave her father's presence for 60 days and go play on the mountains with her friends and reminisce and bewail her virginity. Because of Jephthah's daughter, marriage ain't in the plans for you, boo-boo. What is the law of burnt offering? I mean, if you want to know what homosexual is, you go to Leviticus 20 and 10 and 13. If you want to know what adultery is, Leviticus 20 and 10. You want to know about the Passover Pesach law, you got to go to Leviticus 23, Exodus 12. All right, so when it comes down to a burnt offering, what is that? What explains it? What is a burnt offering, Malachi? Don't worry, you're in the right place. All right, we're going to take care of it. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers and naysayers. I can't say that enough. Because I know you mealy-mouth misfits foaming at the mouth, call yourself sending out curses and all that to no avail. No avail. What's coming out your mouth ain't of a higher power and authority than mine. It's all been declared powerless, motionless, and fruitless. And it's all been declared exposed to the light of the Creator. You bring them, we raise them. Whoever you send toward us, we gonna give them that light, no matter. But they powerless, no authority over it, motionless, no movement, and fruitless. You ain't burning no fruit over this way. Coming over here with ill intent. Bind you in the name of the Creator, the God Maker. We give you this light. Yeah. We even whoop angels with light. We even whoop angels of darkness with light. What's good? What you talking about? Huh? Our responsibility ain't just with the seen, the visible world. It's with the invisible spirit world too. Because there are angels who are below the grades. Who exited this life just as scandalous as they started. What is you talking about? Guess what we got to do? With the knowledge we have, raise them up too. Because this earth ain't become nothing but a prison to them since they crossed over. So it don't even matter. You understand? And on top of that, we don't got no belief and spirit of nothing you Negroes talking about. So it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work because we are under the highest authority, and two, we don't even believe what's coming. We ain't smelling what you selling. How about that? We not smelling what you selling, player. You know what I mean? What's the law? What is a burnt offering? He performed this vow. The vow was a burnt offering. So what is a burnt offering? And the Lord called unto Moses and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, look at this. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, if any man of you bring an offering of the Lord, you shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd and of the flock. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will. Jephthah did that. That was his vow. The Lord didn't twist his arm behind his back, but he did inspire him. Of his own voluntary will to do the tabernacle of the congregation before Yahweh. And he, Jephthah, in this case is Jephthah, so we're gonna plug and play. Okay? And he shall put his hand upon the head of his daughter, burnt offering. And it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. So the burnt offering is an atonement. And he shall kill the bullock, or Jephthah shall kill his daughter before Yahweh. And the priest, Aaron's son, shall bring the blood. So first they got to drain the blood up out of us. Usually there'll probably be a slit throat, hang her upside down, let the blood flow out, collect the blood. Yeah. Sacrifice is ugly business, by the way. It ain't nothing to be bragging about. None of that. Sacrificing is ugly business, very bloody. All you gotta do is go look at a slaughterhouse. The slaughterhouse. Shout out to my brother SEAL Team 144, SEAL Team 12, Instructor Tim. Man, what's the word? My God. Love, life, balance, and all that good stuff in between. I salute you in the name of the ever-present Creator. I keep you always know, right? What's good? Well, look at this. It said, and he shall kill the bullock, or Jephthah shall kill his daughter before the Lord. And the priest, Aaron's son, shall bring the blood. Bring the blood. Bring her blood. And sprinkle the blood around upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So her blood, Jephthah, being she's being offered as a burnt offering according to Judges 11:29 on down, this is the process in which Jephthah would have had to offer his daughter as a burnt offering. There's rules to this. You can't just poke her in the side and watch her bleed out and say, okay, she's a burnt offering now. This is what you got to do. This is the ritual. This is the law of the burnt offering. It's instructions to it. You see that? So they're going to take her blood, bring her blood, and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle, the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he, Jephthah. So while the priest is making a blood border, his daughter's blood, and they're using it to make a border around the actual altar. So while they doing that, this is what Jephthah got to do. And he shall flay or kill the bullock, kill his daughter before Yahweh. Before Yahweh. And the priest, Aaron's son, shall bring the blood, sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle. 6. And he, Jephthah, shall flay, cut in pieces. So he already killed the bullock, which would be his daughter, Jephthah, right? The priest bring the blood, border the altar with the blood. Verse 6. Now, after you slit her throat and get that blood up out of her, guess what you got to do? Guess what Jephthah had to do to his daughter? Look what he had to do. Verse 6. This is what happens. This is when he say he gonna offer it up as a burnt offering. If it wasn't his daughter, this is what he would have did to a bullock. You see that? But he made a vow to the Lord to offer whatever come out his door to greet him from being victorious and spilling blood against the Ammonites. That's Yahweh's, and it's going up to him as a burnt offering. If it wasn't his daughter, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Look how desensitized we've become to bloodshed. We desensitized. You don't feel the same way about the animal that you do about this innocent animal that you do about this innocent daughter of his. We've been desensitized to killing, bloodshed. So since Jephthah offered up his daughter as a burnt offering, this is what he would have had to do, y'all. Because in his mind, he was thinking that an animal was going to greet him, not his daughter. Not his daughter. See that? And he shall flay, cut in pieces the burnt offering. And he, Jephthah, shall flay his daughter and cut her into her pieces. He had to dismember his baby girl after he slit her throat and collected the blood. Now he got to dismember her. Remember, Abraham was told to offer Isaac up as a burnt offering too, and he was with it. This is what Abraham would have had to do. And the fire ain't even came yet. Don't forget, it ends in fire. It's a burnt offering. Look how bloody and gruesome this is, and the fire ain't even came yet. What the hell are you talking about? You act like we've been seduced. We know what we reading. What is you saying? Verse 7. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire upon the altar and lay the wood in order upon the fire. They about to roast this. Look, Jephthah had to roast his dismembered daughter. This is exactly what Abraham would have had to do with Isaac. It's exactly what he had to do. Offer him up as a burnt offering, it says. It don't say a peace offering. It don't say a grain offering. It don't say a free will. It say a burnt offering. So this is the Torah on burnt offering. This is how you do a burnt offering. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire upon the altar, lay the wood in order upon the fire, and the priest, Aaron's son, shall lay her parts, Jephthah's daughter's head, That means he chopped the damn head off, y'all. And the fat, that means he cut her organs out and cut the fat off the organs and order upon the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. But her inwards and her legs. But her inwards and her legs. And y'all read I'm saying her and not his, because we just read that Jephthah offered up his daughter as a burnt offering after making a vow inspired by the Lord to do so. So if you want to know what a burnt offering is, the only place we got to go is Leviticus. We just go learn about a burnt offering, right? And this right here, y'all, is the process. This is how you offer up a burnt offering to Yahweh. This is how. So I'm saying her instead of his because we just read Jephthah offered up his daughter as a burnt offering. This is what he would have had to do. But her inwards and her legs shall he wash in water. And the priest shall burn all on the altar. And the priest shall burn all of Jephthah's dismembered daughter on the altar to be a burnt sacrifice. Offering made by fire of sweet savor, meaning it's good unto Yahweh. Woo! Wait, what are you talking about? What we just read? We just read that a burnt offering is a dismembered corpse. That's what we just read. A burnt offering is a chopped off head. It's sinking that blade, that sword down into the chest cavity and yanking down like you unzipping a jacket. Opening up the rib cages, rib cavities. You get to cutting out organs. And when you get the organs about it, you cut the fat off the organs. Take the fat and the chopped off head and throw that on the wood. Then you take the organs and then you get to removing the lower extremities, the legs. You take the legs and the organs and wash them in water. And then lay them on that wood next to that chopped off head. And that's fat from them cut out organs. And then you roast. Jephthah had to roast his daughter, his dismembered daughter, her organs, her fat, her head, her legs. He had to roast her in allegiance to the deity he made the vow to, who inspired him to make the vow and go to war and kill all these cities. Turn many women into widows and many children into orphans, only to make a vow and have to cut down in your bloodline because your daughter was your only child. Ooh. Wasn't he told her, wasn't it about a burnt offering? Well, y'all look, this right here is the law of burnt offering. That's how you, and that's just one. That's just a bullock. There's other ways to offer up a burnt offering too. You can go do some more right here. Verse 10. And if his offering be of the flocks, namely of the sheep, or the goats for a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring it a male without blemish. He shall kill it on the side of the altar northward before the Lord. And the priest, Aaron's son, shall sprinkle his blood. So they play with blood every day, round about upon the altar. And he shall cut it into his pieces with his head. With his head. They chopped that damn thing head off. Huh? What is we talking about? You think it's a game? What you think we playing? Hold on. Surgical with it, Jake. Surgical with it. That's it. The offering of Isaac. Was Isaac supposed to be a peace offering or a grain offering or a wave sheaf offering? A flower? Huh? What was Abraham tempted by his God to do to Isaac? Genesis 22:1. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham. He tempted him. And said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac. Thine only son Isaac. That's another story. Whom you love, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I tell thee of. I don't understand. Like, what's the only reason you can't get this is because you're in your own way. You're not willing to be real with yourself. Burnt offering, burnt sacrifice, a cent go up. A whole burnt offering, a cent stairway, step. Yeah, that smoke will be spiraling up. Yeah. Look at this. It say a step or collectively stairs is ascending. Usually a who? Y'all, burnt offering is a Holocaust. Quite how ironic that a Jewish rabbi is trying to say that never happened. That never happened with Jephthah's daughter, but it happened with the World War II dealing with Hitler and all that. A burnt offering, y'all, is a Holocaust. That's going up in smoke. Holocaust is in the Bible. It's a burnt offering. Burnt is a burnt offering, yeah. It's ascending as going up in smoke. Ascent, burnt offering, sacrifice. Go up to it. So the God tempted Abraham. What's tempt? Tempt. Gotta be real with ourselves, man. To test, to try, prove, tempt, assay, put to the proof, a test. To test, to try, to attempt, assay, try, to test, try, prove, tempt. Dang. So you get inspired to kill your child. For the brother that said he don't know, you're supposed to try or test the spirit to make sure that ain't what it is. But notice Abraham was told to offer Isaac up as a burnt offering. We all know how that ended. Abraham was willing to do it, right? But he was stopped, and then it was a lamb or something over there in the bush that was the replacement of Isaac. But nonetheless, that's what happened to what we just read about the burnt offering is what happened to that lamb that replaced Isaac. Isaac's fate. They still had to chop his damn head off. Still had to cut his organs out. Still had to cut the fat off the organs. Still had to wash the organs in water along with the removed legs. Draw a blood border and light that sucker on fire. Wow. Wow. Well, I'm saying there's a law on burnt offering. So if these two men are being told, or one is being told to do it, the other one is inspired to do it. You dig? And he don't realize, dang, yeah, I gotta do my daughter like this. But if the Lord is all knowing, that means the Lord knew. So that means Yahweh should have stopped him and say, nah, don't do that because your daughter is gonna come out that house. Don't do that because your daughter is gonna come out that house. The Lord is all knowing. So if the Lord is supposedly all knowing. So if the Lord is all knowing, then that means he knew the whole time it was going to be his daughter that Jephthah was going to offer up to him, and he accepted. Come on, man, we got to be real with ourselves. Don't play with this thing. Just be real with yourself. You know what I mean? Get out your way. Get out your way. Y'all drop a 9,000 in the chat if y'all getting some understanding. Let's go to sample. All right, right here. 1 Samuel 1 and 9. Let's go read the story. The only place you could go in the Bible to show you a child being dedicated to the temple is the story of Samuel. Shemuel, little Shimmy. Now watch this. 1 Samuel 1 and 9. Let's get some understanding in this deal. This is where you try to go. Well, let's go see if the vows are the same. Let's go see if the actions are the same. Let's go do that. And then we're going to close it on out, all right? I just wanted to get on and chop it up with the fam. This has been a hot topic. You know, the gang, Ben brought it out. But as of late, you know, it didn't call wind. It didn't call wind, and certain people were starting to say certain things like what we reading is wrong. Like we don't know what we read. You know what I mean? So it ain't nothing to walk you down. Look at this. So Hannah, which is Samuel's mother, rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of the Lord, temple of Yahuwah. Look at this. This is supposed to be the place where Jephthah's daughter should have been dedicated in, right? Look at this. And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto Yahweh and wept sore. Why? Because she's childless. She doesn't have a child. Her husband got, what, 2 wives, I think, and the other wife is popping. She ain't. Now, look at her vow. Is her vow a burnt offering? Look at her vow for Samuel. She vowed a vow and said, "Oh, Yahweh of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your handmaid, and remember me, and not forget your handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man child, a son, then I will give him unto Yahweh all the days of his life." How you gonna do that? And there shall no razor come upon his head. So Samuel was a Nazarite, Nazir, just like Samson. And when you get into the deeper studies of the Nazarenes, you can see that Yahshua, his mama Miriam, his cousin John, his brother James, the whole squad got down like that. You know, but it takes you to come study with the gang and get that understanding, man. You got all the histories and literatures and all that. You know what I mean? But notice her vow. All right. So if that's her vow, right, then is her vow and Jephthah's vow the same? That's comparing contrary. This ain't lick your finger scholarship. We don't got a mighty cuddle. We don't got to spit no fluff. We don't got a lip fumble. You understand? Right to it. Right to it. What's wrong, man? Look, y'all better leave me alone. That's all I'm saying. Because it's beyond obvious. The God spell is real, boy. The God spell. Okay, so let's go show. See her vow, right? What's her vow? What's her vow? Right here. 1 Samuel 1 and 11 is Samuel's mama's vow. If you want to compare Jephthah's situation to Samuel's situation, then the vow should be the same, shouldn't it? And notice, this vow goes out about Samuel before he's even conceived in his mama's womb. Boy, that's what I'm saying. Jephthah made a vow after his daughter was already born. And she grown enough to leave with her friends for 60 days and go play on some mountains. We see her vow. She vowed a vow and said, "Oh, Yahweh of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me and not forget your handmaid, but will give unto your handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life. And there shall no razor come upon his head." Nazarite vow, right? Look at this. And it came to pass. And she continued praying before Yahweh that Eli marked her mouth. Like, okay, remember that? Remember that. Now, Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore, Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, "How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thine wine from thee." And Hannah answered and said, "No, my Lord, no, not my master. I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I have poured out my soul before Yahweh. Count not thine handmaid. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial. Out of the abundance of my complaint and grief, Have I spoken hitherto? So she's like, nah, I ain't drunk. I am in sorrowful soul that I don't have a child. See, she weeping because she's childless. Then Eli answered and said, go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, let thine handmaid find grace in your sight. The woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. Samuel was born. And they rose up in the morning early and worshipped before Yahweh and returned and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah. So when he lay with his Samuel's daddy, lay with his mom, his wife, and Yahweh remembered her. Wherefore came to pass when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived that she bare a son, and called his name Shemuel, saying, because I have asked him of Yahweh. And the man Elkanah, her husband, and all his house went up to offer unto Yahweh the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she said unto her husband, I would not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before Yahweh, and there abide forever. And Elkanah, her husband, said unto her, do what seemeth thee good. Tarry until you have weaned him. Only Yahweh established his word. So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him, which is usually about 3 years. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her. With 3 bullocks and 1 ephah of flour and a bottle of wine, and brought him into the house of Yahweh in Shiloh, and the child was young. Why is she not weeping? Why is she not tearing her clothes like Jephthah did? Jephthah tore his clothes. Jephthah tore his clothes when he realized he had to perform his vow. What did she do? She didn't tear her clothes. She didn't get sad. Look, and they slew a bullock and brought the child to Eli. And she said, oh, my master, as thy soul liveth, my Lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here praying unto Yahweh. For this child I prayed, and Yahweh have given me my petition, which I asked of him. Therefore, also I have lent him to Yahweh. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to Yahweh, and he worshiped Yahweh there. I made my vow. I'm standing on my vow. Right? And what was her vow? What was her vow? Right here. Right, verse 11. This is Samuel mama's vow about the son that she's going to dedicate to this temple. Look at her vow. And she vowed a vow and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if thou will indeed look on the affliction of thy handmaid and remember me, and not forget thy handmaid, but will give unto thy handmaid a man child, son, and I will give him unto Yahweh all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. What was Jephthah's vow? Judges 11:31. Then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth out of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the children of Ammon shall surely be Yahweh's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. The vows are not the same. One is a Nazarite vow. One is a Nazarite vow. This right here is a burnt offering. Yeah. I think it's safe to say, man, that we just sunk that doctrine. You know what I mean? We just sunk that deal. Ah, man, my bad, yeah. Hold on one second. Now watch this. Let me go ahead. Share this tab. 1 Samuel 2:11. Remember her vow, she said she was going to give him to the Lord, a razor would not touch We go right here. And Elkanah, which is Samuel's father, all right, went to Ramah to his house, and the child did minister unto Yahweh before Eli the priest. He's in the temple. He's in the temple. You know what I mean? Samuel before the Lord as a boy. But Samuel ministered before the Lord being a child, girded with a linen ephod. Moreover, his mother made him a little coat and brought it to him from year to year. So she's going to see her son. When she came up with her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice, which is usually like the Day of Atonement or something like that. And Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife and said, the Lord give thee seed of this woman for the loan which is lent to the Lord. See, because Samuel is dedicated, a razor won't touch his head. He's in the temple at Shiloh, ministering, serving before the Lord. Got him an ephod on and all that, the priestly garments and all that. See that? And Yahweh visited Hannah so that she conceived and birthed 3 sons and 2 daughters. And the child Samuel grew before the Lord. What say ye, family? What say ye? What say ye? Was Jephthah's daughter dedicated to the temple in similar fashion as Samuel was? Or was she offered up as a burnt offering? We gave a biblical example of a child being dedicated and going to live in the temple and ministering before Yahweh. We gave an example of that. It's Samuel. Right? But look at the vows. The vows are totally different. The actions are totally different with the pattern. Understand? Totally different. So what say you? Let's say you. If she was dedicated to the temple, drop a 1 in the chat. If she was offered up as a burnt offering, drop a 1,000 in the chat. I know it's ugly business. But it's just what it is, man. But you know what I mean? Anything other than that, you're reading into it. Like you're making that say that. You're making that up. You know what I mean? It's what it is. I know cats is mad and foaming at the mouth, but that's just because you're in denial. You feel me? You're in denial about what it is. That's what it says. He performed his vow. His vow was a burnt offering vow. His vow wasn't about consecration and dedication to the temple. You want to know what a vow like that sounds like? Go to 1 Samuel 1 and 11. You dig? And notice, once Samuel was weaned off the tit or the teat, you know what I mean? Then he's lent to Yahweh, meaning he's going to be a minister in the temple of Yahweh. He's dedicated. He's a Nazir. He's dedicated. Right? Jephthah's daughter was so grown, he could send her away for 2 months to go play on the mountains. You see that? I think everybody understands what it is. I mean, the break, it didn't even take that long. I mean, come on now. Easy work. Easy work. You feel me? It just is what it is, man. Cats got to get out their own way. Get out your way, man. Get out your own way. And just be real with yourself. You feel me? Share something else with y'all before we exit up out of here, man. Love, light, and balance, man. All praises to the creator of God maker. Alright, bang. Let's share this with y'all real quick. Glad y'all got some understanding. Here we go right here. Yeah. We riding out, baby. Me gonna get on up out of here after this, y'all. Love, light, and cosmos to the family, man. I'm your little brother Malaki Megaton Light Bomb Macabee. Shout out to the CGG, man. Shout out to all my brothers and sisters. Shout out to the 4 horsemen. You know what I mean? The Turtle Gang. Y'all know how we come, man. You know what I mean? And first and foremost, all praises, glory, and honor to the creator, the God maker, the maker of suns, moons, and stars, whose magnitude is incomprehensible and whose presence is everywhere. You got something of a higher authority than that? I know not. I know not. All right, we up out of here. Let's get it.
In the book of Judges, chapter 11, we find the story of Jephthah, a mighty warrior who made a solemn vow to the Lord before going into battle against the Ammonites. He promised that if the Lord granted him victory, he would offer as a burnt offering the first thing that came out of his house to greet him upon his return. With the Lord's help, Jephthah emerged victorious, but as he returned home, his heart sank when his beloved daughter, his only child, came out to welcome him with timbrels and dancing. In his anguish, Jephthah tore his clothes and realized the weight of his vow. Jephthah's daughter, deeply aware of her father's vow, requested only 2 months to mourn her virginity on the mountains with her friends. Jephthah granted her request, and she spent that time in lamentation. When the 2 months passed, Jephthah fulfilled his vow to the Lord. This story serves as a poignant and tragic reminder of the solemnity of vows made to God and the consequences they can bring, even when made in the fervor of the moment.
Away, away, away. It is what it is, family, man. I'm glad y'all got some edification today. I had to swing on back through. I figured strike what I earns out. You know how it is. You feel me? Hey, man, a lot of brothers in denial, though. Get out of there. Look, first, let me help y'all out with something. The first rule of liberty or freedom is to free yourself from self. Yeah, you in your own way. You know what I mean? You call it that ego or that whatever it is you think you got, you ain't got it, man. You know what I mean? Inception dealing with the false gods and deeds. Serious. All we gotta do is slow down. We can read too fast, licking our fingers, supposedly putting our precepts together. Look, we didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Shit, huh? And look, you can burn every book in the world today. Does your faith in the Creator lead you go to the knowledge? So you got to get out of that Bible worshiping books. Understand? There's no book as easily read as the Creator's created universe. The Creator's created universe. Remember that. I'm talking about. Y'all tap on in with your brother, man. Yours today, dang. It's yours today on Amazon, man. From Darkness to Determination, a practical guide on conquering depression and trauma. By you, yours truly, brother Malaki Macabee. Alright. Yeah. CGG got offers. Alright. Now check me out on Amazon. The links for the book is in the description box. Also, any brothers need any type of frankincense and all that. I know the holy day is coming up. You know what I mean? I sell frankincense by the gallon, half gallon, 16 ounces, 32 ounces, whatever you need. You know what I mean? Get at you. All this in the description on how to contact me. Feel me? Hardcover for the book is $39.99. Paperback is $19.99. Kindle is $9.99. If you already got Kindle, it's free. Some understanding, man. All right, From Darkness to Determination, a practical guide on conquering depression and trauma is a transformative book for anyone seeking to break free from the grips of depression and gaining control over their life. This guide is both empowering and practical, meaning you put it into practice. And practical, see that? Offering a roadmap to overcoming not only depression, but also the hidden emotional and psychological barriers that often accompany it by combining scientific insights, powerful self-reflection, exercise, and actionable strategies. This book encourages readers to tap into their inner strength and determination as tools for healing. Y'all might want to get this. Made it affordable too, man. I ain't go bananas with it. Feel me? Because it's something everybody deals with. Everybody deals with what they call mental health. depression, stress, anger issues, whatever it may be, trauma. A lot of that trauma hide up in your muscle memory. Big shit is straight deform you. You know how to, relax, man. Breathe in, let the light in, like my bro always say. You know what I mean? Start living in the moment. Stop being so like running from your past and scared of the future, and you just missing now. Attached, want to breathe. It's true. Achievable facts in the mind and action. Really encourage the front. Mic check, and I be heard. That's crazy, man. They always hate. But I was on my way out of here anyway, though. So I want to get back on here, holler at everybody. You know what I mean? Love, light, balance. Find somebody to do good for. Find somebody to love on today. You know what I mean? And, get on outside, man, and really take in the creator's creations. Start being observable. You know what I mean? All that good stuff in between, man. Just be thankful. And look, make your covenant with Creator daily. You know what I mean? And learn to escape the toils of the false gods. You want to know how to do that? You got to tap in with the gang, man. We heard it. You know what I mean? You got questions, we got answers. Come on, man. Get yourself out the way. Just sincerely get some understanding. We all students. I learn every day. I be in teaching mode and student mode. I learn every day. You know what I mean? Y'all tap on in with the gang, man. We got plenty of teachers. You understand? Shout out to my brother C-La Shalom, frontlining for many years. Shout out to my brother Cosmon Kruger, Cosmon Cal, frontlining for many years. Shout out to my brother Daryl Cosmon, DK, the equalizer, Robert McCall, frontlining for over 20 years. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, so the teachers is there. Yeah, you just gotta take advantage of it and get out your own way. First rule of freedom is to free self from self. I'm about it, family. Love, light, balance. In the name of the ever-present creator, the God maker. I salute you all. Love, light, and balance. That's word.